join me in welcoming Dr. Kellie McElhaney.
Yeah, so I've never followed duck poop in a presentation before. I've never been announced as Wonder Woman, but I can tell you that I've been announced quite too much for my taste as Sarah Palin. And I am not her. So hi, thanks for being here on a Saturday to listen to all of this. I'm going to talk to you about corporate social responsibility 3.0, but another challenge for TED talkers. I can't talk about something I don't know about because I'm too nervous, but I could talk about something I've never talked about in public, and that is the following. For the past 2 years, I've been involved in a really difficult battle, and I chose this battle myself. And it started about 2 years ago. I was taking a Sunday morning spin class, and this song came on by Everclear. Never heard of Everclear because I'm not that cool, too old, but the song was called Volvo Driving Soccer Mom. So I'm spinning on a Saturday morning, super hot, sweaty, and the song comes on, Volvo Driving Soccer Mom, and I broke out into a wicked cold sweat because it occurred to me that I had become a Volvo Driving Soccer Mom, and I didn't want to be a Volvo Driving Soccer Mom, and in fact, it wasn't authentically me. So I embarked on a journey. I'm not going to tell you the details of the journey because it's pretty ugly, but I will tell you an outcome, that I started to sit down and do what I always consult and teach and write to companies to do, which is I came up with my core values. And they are the ABCDs of me. To be authentic, to be bold, to be connected, and I had to get damn in there, to be useful. And I'm just going to talk about authenticity today. By the way, this is not me. One of my students in Barcelona gave me this gift, which was this photoshopped picture of me. That is not my body, you can see that. But let me talk about authenticity, because when I learned I had become a Volvo driving soccer mom, I felt very inauthentic. And you know, I don't know what you think authenticity means, but I did some research because I'm a research geek, and I learned that the actual meaning of authenticity has its roots back in Latin to the first part of the word, which is author. And the word authenticity actually means to be the author of your own life. So that's the battle I've embarked on in the past 2 years, and the good news is I'm winning the battle. So now let me talk about my talk. This is a picture of two girls, age 9 and 7, on the North Carolina coast in the water, doing what 9-year-olds and 7-year-olds should do in the water on the beach. Enjoying the waves, fighting with each other, enjoying the innocence of youth, enjoying their bodies. Looks pretty normal. They're average kids. Well, they're mine, so they're a little bit above average, but they're pretty normal kids, right? Now let me show you a picture of what Abercrombie and Fitch thinks they should be doing. This is a picture of the Ashley Triangle push-up bikini top. And 2 weeks ago, Abercrombie launched this bikini top with the words, "Create the sexy come hither look," marketed to 7 to 12-year-old girls. So I don't know about you, but that's not what I want my daughters wearing on the beach. So it's a two-pronged issue here. One is, I teach in an MBA program, a top-notch MBA program at Berkeley. I can't imagine any one of my students sitting down at the table in Abercrombie and Fitch and thinking that this is okay. Now, let me just be clear, because it is Abercrombie and Fitch's fault, but now the product is launched, and so the responsibility rests on me. What kind of a mother or father or grandmother or grandfather or sister or brother would buy this for their kid? So just a few words about Abercrombie. I don't know Abercrombie. I don't consult for them. I'm not paid for them by them, and I don't own any stock in them. But I do know that at the same time this product was launched, the day before, in fact, the CRO magazine, Community Responsibility Officer magazine, launched their 100 Best Citizens list. And for the first time ever, they launched the blacklist. They decided it was incumbent upon them to not only call out the leaders, but to call out some laggards. And guess who made the list? Abercrombie and Fitch. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about for the next 10 minutes. Business 1.0, Ari talked about it. I don't need to tell you what it was. I worked in it. I'm an ex-banker. It was the picture up here, the ivory tower, the opacity, the lack of transparency. Business 2.0, subtle changes. You now know that there's a kid working in the cotton field for the cotton that supplies the jeans that you might or might not choose to sell. You now know that your brand BP is synonymous with this oil-soaked bird. And if you don't think brand has any market cap power, it is estimated that 80% of market cap valuation right now is based on intangible. And brand is a significant component of intangibles. Let me repeat that, linked to 80% of market cap valuation. Now, I'd like to tell you we're in business 3.0, but we're not. We're probably somewhere around business 2.50. A couple of characteristics about business 2.50 that I think are really exciting. The first, small thing, toilet paper, but we all use it every day, hopefully. So does it have the power to change the world? Well, Kimberly-Clark, who made the 100 top citizens list, by the way, launched at the end of last year a new tubeless toilet paper roll. So here's the backroom discussions that I'm fortunate enough to be privy. We used to talk about creating smarter people. We tried for a really long time to create smarter citizens, smarter consumers, smarter buyers. Well, the little nasty secret that we whisper behind the scenes is Abercrombie and Fitch, Ashley, push-up bikini top. People are buying it. Maybe we've maxed out on creating smarter people. So could we change our strategy? Could we actually try to create smarter products so that the people don't have to get smarter, they don't have to change, they can still buy sexy come-hither tops for their 7-year-old daughter? So Kimberly-Clark, and it wasn't one employee at Kimberly-Clark who said, I think I can do this. Actually, you don't need that tube of cardboard inside your toilet paper roll. We can roll it tighter in the middle. It still has a hole. You can still get it on the toilet paper hanger, but we don't need the actual cardboard. And even for the greenest of the green out here, and I'm sure somebody's going to tell me that they do recycle their toilet paper, but it turns out that fewer than 10% of us recycle the tube in the toilet paper roll, because let's think about it. My recycling bin is out on my porch, back porch. When I'm on the 3rd floor going to the bathroom and I have to change out the roll, it's highly improbable that I'm going to walk down to the recycling bin with my pants pulled down to recycle the tube. So small change could have the ability to have a big impact. The second, and I might get shot on stage, and I can't see any of you, so if anybody's pointing a rotten tomato at me, somebody grab it from them. Walmart. I know it's really risky to talk about Walmart in a San Francisco audience. But you know what? They're the 23rd largest economy in the world. So for those of you who want to ignore Walmart and just get rid of them and not let them into our community, I think that's just a stupid strategy, because they're big. So wouldn't it be better to harness the power of Walmart to try to make things better? And they're on the path. They may have really long way to go, but they're on the path. Their healthy nutrition program that was just announced this year to make healthy, organic food affordable, lower in sugar for the processed side of healthy, organic food, if there is such a thing. But a lot of people eat processed food. A lot of Walmart customers eat processed food. To make processed food lower in sugar, salt, and fat. So they're on the path. Now, Business 3.0, the challenge is out to you to be the authors. I'm already an author, so I'm done. But the challenge is out to you to try to recreate what Business 3.0 is going to look like. A depressing statistic, trust across the board, Edelman Trust Barometer, really bad. Look at the race to the bottom in trust. So those of you, I just want to say, because business has been at the bottom, government, and we have a government speaker out here, you're now lower than business. Media, this would be the segment that I would like to target next if I had more energy than I do right now. Media, you're at the bottom in terms of trust. And the question is asked globally, do you trust in this organization, this entity, to do good in society? So we know trust is down. Who cares about trust? I work in a business school. We don't teach trust. We teach shareholder maximization. Well, guess what? Trust is intimately linked to shareholder maximization. This looks at BP and Chevron stock, which is tracking pretty closely. Little accident for BP. Stock goes down. Look at the numbers there. And those numbers are not linked to BP spending money to clean up the oil spill. Those numbers and their loss in share price is linked to their loss in trust. So CSR 3.0. How do I define CSR? I am not a do-gooder. I'm a hardcore capitalist. I'm an ex-banker. You should have picked that up in my intro with a Wonder Woman tattoo, I know. I look at CSR as it is a business strategy, not throwing money off at a cause and then turning around and making money by any method possible, like selling a push-up bikini top to young girls. I look at it as it is a business strategy, which means it has to be linked to two things: protecting wealth for the company or creating wealth for the company. Because as soon as a company takes their eye off those two strategies, they cease to be a company, and it doesn't matter how good they were trying to be for the world. So I look at trying to harness the power of business to create a better world for all of us, to author a better world for all of us. Now, a very quick story. Millennials, people between the ages of 8 and 30 right now, and women, which I call lionesses, happen to be two of the groups who are pushing for corporate social responsibility the loudest and the strongest. I could talk about women, but that would look very self-serving because clearly I am one. So let me tell you a millennial story. This is a letter from a 9-year-old who came home, and her very consumeristic mother had ordered a paper-thin T-shirt from J. Crew. And the 9-year-old saw the box on the porch, opened it up, because as a typical 9-year-old, she thought it was a gift for her. Opened a big box, and inside was a very heavy cardstock second box. And to her, and we should all be ashamed of this, by the way, because to her it was completely counterintuitive, immediately. So she walked into her mother's computer, Googled J. Crew, found the name of the CEO, a guy named Millard Drexler, who used to be here in San Francisco as the CEO of Gap, and she wrote him an email. And in that email, she said a couple of really interesting things. After apologizing, because she's a girl, she apologized first. I'm going to tell you something bad about your company, but do you even think about how you package this shirt? Because basically, it was in a box big enough for the shirt to get up and walk around, and then it was in another box. And she cites The Giving Tree, which is one of her favorite books, and she talks about the boy who depletes the tree, and at the end of his life tries to go back, and the tree's no longer there. And she says, you know, maybe you should think about this, because you might get better results from anybody. Mailmen who have to carry this heavy box, trucks who have to carry this heavy box, plus 27,000 others and the gasoline that they use, or customers who see this heavy box. And at the end, there was a great asterisk written by a girl named Isabel Weinerth, and she says, I'm Kelly's daughter. And at the end, the asterisk is Kelly. Kelly is my mom. She's a professor of busyness. So this girl doesn't get a response from Mickey Drexler. She sends it to investor relations. She sends it to customer service. We can't find Mickey Drexler's email address anywhere. So about 4 days later, she writes, by the way, on a recycled piece of paper, a handwritten letter to Mickey. And she basically says, you know, customer service got back to me and said, how can I help you? Here's the issue, Mr. Drexler. I wrote the letter, the email to you. Now, this is a girl who's 9 years old and is absolutely indignant that a CEO would not respond to her. So think about the power of that. Think about the woman who has to now parent this child. That's another TED Talk. And she's not brilliant. She is a very average 9-year-old kid, but the beauty of millennials is they think the world's messed up. Yeah, so did my generation, so did your generation. They think that they're responsible. Yeah, so did my generation, so did your generation. This generation feels personally powerful to create change. That's the difference. She then writes him a handwritten letter. She can't spell the word obliged. She basically says, come on, dude, get back to me. And by the way, here's my copy of the Giving Tree. You need to read it. We FedExed it, so I got a little bit involved. First time in this story I got involved. I FedExed it, I paid for the FedEx charge, and I slipped in a copy of my book. Mickey Drexler gets back to Sporty Izzy 658, Isabel Weinerth, and says, thanks for the book, we read it, we agree, thanks for the feedback. 9-year-old girl has the ability to do that. Every single person in this audience has the ability to author Business 3.0. Because I think the Lorax said it the best. You gotta care, or nothing's gonna change. Every single person out here has the obligation to change. So I leave you with the challenge to be the author of Business 3.0. And there are lots of ways you can author Business 3.0. You can tweet, you can Facebook, you can use your purchasing power, you can use your communication power, you can use your job creation power, your company building power, where you choose to work. But my final thought to you all is voice plus action equals change. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.